What happens when a royal prince walks into a late-night talk show thinking he owns the place and can say whatever he wants to whoever he wants? It only took 41 seconds of pure arrogance for Prince Harry to completely destroy his reputation on live television and get himself thrown off the Jonathan Ross show in the most shocking outburst ever caught on camera. The red velvet curtains part and the studio lights blaze down on Jonathan Ross as he adjusts his signature thick-rimmed glasses and flashes that familiar warm smile to the packed audience. The energy in the room is electric. Everyone knows tonight is going to be special. Prince Harry, the rebel royal himself, is sitting right there in the guest chair, looking every bit the part in his crisp navy suit and perfectly styled hair. "Right then, Harry," Jonathan says, leaning back in his chair with that easygoing charm that has made him Britain's most beloved talk show host for decades. "Let's start with something everyone's been wondering about. How are you finding life outside the royal bubble? Must be quite the adjustment, yeah?" The audience murmurs with anticipation. This is exactly what they came to hear. Real talk from a real prince about real life. Jonathan has this incredible gift of making even the most guarded celebrities open up and share their truth. His genuine curiosity and respect for his guests always creates these beautiful, honest moments that viewers remember forever. But Harry shifts uncomfortably in his chair, his jaw already tightening. Something is off about his energy tonight. There's a coldness in his eyes that the cameras are picking up perfectly. "Well, Jonathan," he begins, his voice carrying an edge that cuts through the studio's warm atmosphere like a knife. "I think you people have this completely backwards. The real question should be how Britain is coping without me." The audience goes completely silent. You could hear a pin drop in that moment. Even the camera operators seem to pause, uncertain if they heard correctly. Jonathan's eyebrows raise slightly, but his smile remains intact. He's handled difficult guests before, and his professionalism never wavers. "That's an interesting perspective," Jonathan responds diplomatically, his voice steady and kind. "But surely you must miss some aspects of royal life? The ceremonies, the traditions, the connection to British history?" Harry lets out this harsh laugh that echoes through the studio speakers. "Miss it? Jonathan, you clearly don't understand who you're dealing with here. I am British history. Every single person in this audience, including you, should be grateful that I'm even sitting in this chair talking to you right now." The audience starts shifting uncomfortably in their seats. A few people exchange worried glances. This isn't the charming, relatable Harry they expected. This is someone completely different, someone who seems to think the world revolves around him. Jonathan maintains his composure beautifully, still trying to steer the conversation back to safer ground. "Well, I think our viewers would love to hear about your charitable work. You've always been passionate about helping others, haven't you?" "Charitable work?" Harry's voice rises now, and there's genuine irritation creeping in. "Let me tell you something about charity, Jonathan. Everything I do is charity. Every breath I take in public is a gift to the British people. They should be paying me just to exist in their country." The studio audience is now visibly uncomfortable. Some people are looking at each other with complete shock. Others are staring at the exit signs. Jonathan, however, remains the perfect professional. His decades of experience are showing as he tries once more to salvage the interview. "I think perhaps we got off on the wrong foot here, Harry. Why don't we talk about something lighter? Your new projects, maybe? Something you're excited about?" Harry leans forward aggressively, pointing his finger directly at Jonathan. "You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about people like you finally showing me the respect I deserve. Do you have any idea who my grandmother was? Do you understand the blood that runs through my veins?" "Of course I do," Jonathan replies gently, his voice still calm and respectful. "And I have nothing but respect for your family and your heritage. I'm just trying to have a nice conversation with you tonight." "Nice conversation?" Harry stands up now, towering over Jonathan's desk. "You think this is about having a nice chat? You invited royalty onto your little show, Jonathan. You should be honored. You should be thanking me for even agreeing to sit in the same room as you." The cameras are capturing every second of this meltdown in crystal clear detail. The audience is completely silent now, watching this train wreck unfold in real time. Some people have their phones out, recording everything. They know they're witnessing something that'll be talked about for years. Jonathan takes a deep breath, his professionalism still intact despite the increasingly hostile atmosphere. "Harry, I understand you might be having a difficult evening, but there's no need for any of this. We're all friends here. Why don't we take a quick break and reset?" "Friends?" Harry laughs again, but this time it's even more bitter and cold. "Jonathan, we are not friends. We will never be friends. You are a television host, and I am royalty. There are levels to this game that you will never understand." The audience is now murmuring among themselves, clearly disturbed by what they're witnessing. Jonathan looks genuinely concerned, not for himself, but for Harry. His natural empathy is shining through, even in this incredibly difficult moment. "Look, Harry," Jonathan says softly, trying one more time to reach through the anger. "Whatever is going on in your life right now, whatever pressure you're under, you don't have to take it out on me or this audience. These are good people who came here tonight just hoping to see you be yourself." Harry's eyes flash with pure rage. "Be myself? This is myself, Jonathan. This is who I really am when I don't have handlers and PR people telling me to smile and wave. You want the real Prince Harry? Congratulations, you're getting him." The studio air becomes thick with tension. Jonathan sits back in his chair, clearly processing what just happened. His years of experience have taught him to stay calm in difficult situations, but this is unlike anything he's ever encountered. The man sitting across from him isn't just having a bad day. He's showing a side of himself that nobody expected to see. "Harry," Jonathan says slowly, his voice filled with genuine concern, "I think you might want to take a moment to collect yourself. This is being broadcast to millions of people." Harry throws his hands up in the air dramatically. "Oh, you're worried about the millions watching? Let me tell you something about those millions, Jonathan. Every single one of them wishes they could be me. Every single one of them would trade their pathetic little lives to have what I have." A woman in the front row gasps audibly. Her hand flies to her mouth in shock. The camera briefly catches her reaction, and it perfectly captures what everyone in that studio is feeling right now. Complete disbelief. Jonathan's face shows the first signs of real concern. Not fear, but genuine worry for someone who seems to be spiraling completely out of control. "That's not true, Harry, and I think deep down you know that. People admire you, yes, but they also relate to you because you've always seemed so down to earth." "Down to earth?" Harry's voice cracks with incredulous laughter. "Jonathan, I was born in a palace. I grew up with servants catering to my every need. I have never, not once in my entire life, been down to earth. That was all an act, and frankly, I'm tired of pretending." The audience is now completely silent, except for the occasional uncomfortable cough or shuffle. These are people who paid good money to see their favorite talk show, expecting laughs and heartwarming stories. Instead, they're watching someone have what appears to be a complete mental breakdown on live television. Jonathan tries a different approach, his voice becoming even gentler. "Harry, your mother Diana was beloved by people all over the world because she connected with them. She showed that royalty could be compassionate and relatable. Don't you want to honor that legacy?" The mention of his mother stops Harry cold. For just a moment, his face softens, and you can see a flicker of the person he used to be. But then something darker takes over, and his expression hardens even more than before. "Don't you dare," Harry says, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "Don't you dare bring my mother into this. You didn't know her. You never met her. You have absolutely no right to speak about her or what she would have wanted." Jonathan realizes he's touched a nerve, but instead of backing down, he leans forward with genuine empathy. "You're absolutely right. I didn't know her personally, but the whole world saw how much she loved you and your brother. And I think she would want you to be happy, not angry like this." "Happy?" Harry stands up again, this time walking around the guest chair like a caged animal. "You think this is about happiness? This is about respect, Jonathan. This is about people like you understanding your place in the world compared to mine." The studio director in the control room is frantically signaling to Jonathan through his earpiece, but Jonathan waves him off. He's not ready to give up on this interview yet. His natural instinct is to help people, and he can see that beneath all this rage, Harry is clearly struggling with something deeper. "What place is that exactly?" Jonathan asks, his question simple but direct. "Help me understand what you think my place should be." Harry stops pacing and stares directly at Jonathan with cold, calculating eyes. "Your place, Jonathan, is to be grateful that someone like me would even consider appearing on your show. Your place is to ask respectful questions and accept whatever answers I choose to give you. Your place is to recognize that you are talking to royalty." "But I am being respectful," Jonathan responds, his voice still remarkably calm. "I've been nothing but polite to you since you sat down. I asked about your life, your work, your experiences. Those seem like perfectly reasonable questions for an interview." Harry lets out another one of those harsh laughs that's becoming his signature sound tonight. "Reasonable? You think it's reasonable to question me, to push back on anything I say? Jonathan, I don't think you understand how this works. When I speak, you listen. When I make a statement, you accept it. That's how conversations with royalty are supposed to go. The camera operators are having a field day with this footage. Every angle captures the stark contrast between Harry's aggressive posturing and Jonathan's calm professionalism. It's like watching two completely different species trying to communicate. That's not really a conversation though, is it? Jonathan points out gently. That's more like a lecture. I thought we were here to have a real talk, to let people get to know the real you. The real me? Harry's voice is getting louder now, and his gestures are becoming more dramatic. The real me doesn't owe explanations to anyone. The real me doesn't have to justify himself to talk show hosts or studio audiences or millions of viewers. The real me is above all of that. A teenage girl in the audience starts crying quietly. Her mother puts an arm around her, trying to comfort her. They clearly came here as fans, hoping to see their hero. And instead, they're watching him destroy himself on live television. Jonathan notices the crying girl, and his heart breaks a little. His voice becomes even more compassionate. Harry, look around this room. These are real people with real lives and real feelings. That young girl over there is crying because you're not who she thought you were. Doesn't that matter to you at all? Harry follows Jonathan's gaze to the crying teenager. And for a split second, something human flickers across his face. But then he shakes his head and turns back to Jonathan with even more venom than before. Why should I care about some random girl's feelings? I didn't ask her to come here. I didn't ask any of these people to have opinions about me. They chose to put me on a pedestal, and now they're disappointed that I won't stay there? That's their problem, not mine. Those words hang in the air like poison. The entire studio falls into a deathly silence. Even the camera operators stop moving. Jonathan's face changes completely. The warm, understanding expression disappears, replaced by something much more serious. For the first time tonight, his legendary patience is starting to crack. Harry, Jonathan says, and his voice has a new edge to it. That young lady and everyone else in this audience are human beings who deserve basic respect. They came here tonight expecting to see someone they admired, and you're treating them like they don't matter at all. Harry waves his hand dismissively, like he's shooing away a fly. They don't matter, Jonathan. That's what I've been trying to tell you. In the grand scheme of things, their opinions, their feelings, their entire lives are completely irrelevant compared to mine. I'm a prince. They're nobody. The audience collectively gasps. Several people stand up and start heading for the exits. The teenage girl who was crying earlier is now sobbing openly, and her mother is leading her toward the door. Other audience members are shaking their heads in disgust, their faces showing pure disappointment and anger. Jonathan watches his audience leaving, and something inside him snaps. His decades of professionalism have limits, and Harry just crossed every single one of them. When Jonathan speaks again, his voice is no longer gentle or understanding. It's firm and authoritative. Right, that's enough, Jonathan says, standing up from behind his desk. Harry, I've tried to be patient with you tonight. I've tried to understand what you're going through, tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, but this has gone way too far. Harry looks genuinely surprised. Nobody talks to him like this. His mouth falls open slightly, and for the first time tonight, he seems speechless. But Jonathan isn't finished. Not even close. These people, Jonathan continues, gesturing to his audience, are the reason this show exists. They're the reason you have a platform to speak from tonight. And you just called them nobody. You just told a crying teenager that her feelings don't matter because she's not royalty. Now wait just a minute. Harry starts to protest, but Jonathan cuts him off completely. No, you wait, Jonathan says, his voice rising. I've been in this business for over 30 years. I've interviewed prime ministers, movie stars, musicians, athletes, and yes, even royalty. And never, not once, have I had someone sit in that chair and show such complete contempt for basic human decency. The remaining audience members burst into spontaneous applause. They're clapping not just for Jonathan, but for finally seeing someone stand up to Harry's outrageous behavior. The sound fills the studio, and you can feel the energy in the room completely shift. Harry's face turns red with anger and embarrassment. You can't talk to me like that, Jonathan. Do you know who I am? Do you understand what kind of trouble you could get into for disrespecting me on national television? Jonathan takes a step closer to Harry, and his voice becomes dangerously quiet. I know exactly who you are, Harry. You're someone who forgot that being born into privilege doesn't give you the right to treat people like garbage. You're someone who thinks his title makes him better than everyone else in this room. It does make me better, Harry shouts, his voice cracking with rage. I am literally better than every single person in this building. My bloodline goes back centuries. These people are peasants compared to me. That word, peasants echoes through the studio like a bomb going off. The remaining audience members gasp in shock and outrage. Several more people get up and storm out, shaking their heads in disgust. The cameramen keep rolling, capturing every moment of this historic meltdown. Jonathan's eyes narrow, and when he speaks, his voice is ice cold. Peasants. Did you just call my audience peasants? These are teachers, nurses, shop workers, students, parents, grandparents. These are the people who make this country work every single day. And I'm the person they work for, Harry snaps back. Their taxes pay for my lifestyle. Their devotion to the monarchy keeps my family in power. They exist to serve me, not the other way around. Jonathan shakes his head slowly, and there's genuine sadness in his voice now. Your mother would be ashamed of you right now. The woman who worked with AIDS patients, who walked through minefields to help people, who dedicated her life to serving others. She would be horrified by what you've become. Harry's face goes white with rage. Don't you dare mention my mother again. You have no right to speak her name. You're nothing compared to her, and you're nothing compared to me. You're right, Jonathan says quietly. I'm not royalty. I'm just a talk show host. But you know what I am? I'm someone who treats people with dignity and respect. I'm someone who understands that my success comes from the people who watch this show and support it. Harry is practically vibrating with anger now. Your success means nothing, Jonathan. This show means nothing. You mean nothing. In 100 years, nobody will remember your name, but they'll still be talking about mine because I'm a prince. Jonathan nods slowly, like he's finally understanding something important. You're absolutely right, Harry. In 100 years, people will still be talking about you. They'll be talking about the night you showed the world exactly who you really are. Good, Harry shouts. Let them talk. Let them remember that they witnessed greatness, even if they were too stupid to appreciate it at the time. Jonathan walks over to his desk and presses a button. Security guards immediately appear at the studio doors. The audience realizes what's happening and starts cheering. Jonathan looks directly into the main camera and speaks to his viewers at home. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize to everyone watching at home and to our studio audience for what you've witnessed tonight. This is not the kind of behavior we accept on this show, regardless of who our guest might be. Harry finally realizes what's happening and starts backing away from the security guards. You can't throw me out. I'm Prince Harry. This will be an international incident. You'll lose your job over this. Jonathan's response is calm and dignified. Harry, you're not welcome here anymore. Your title doesn't give you the right to insult and demean good people. Security will escort you out. This is outrageous, Harry screams as the guards approach him. I am royalty. You cannot treat me like a common criminal. The British people will hear about this. Jonathan's final words to Harry are delivered with quiet authority. The British people are hearing about this, Harry. They're watching right now, and I think they can see exactly what kind of person you really are. As security escorts a ranting, raging Harry toward the exit, the studio audience rises to their feet in a thunderous standing ovation for Jonathan Ross. The man who spent decades making people laugh and feel welcome has just shown that sometimes the most important thing a host can do is protect the dignity of his guests and his audience alike.